Oh,
Yes.
dude, I'm like 3 seasons behind, man. I'm
God.
torn because every time I come in home, I want to put some comfort shit on. And it's like, do I watch Bob's Burgers? Do I rewatch Bob's Burgers? Do I watch Parks and Rec? Do I finally start Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which everybody keeps telling me I should?
You should, yeah.
I
Get
know.
caught up on Bob's Burgers. That's the shorter amount of episodes,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
true.
roll right into Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, I should watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We have all of the streaming services, so I know I can watch them somehow.
Yeah, it's on something.
Hulu, HBO, who fucking knows?
Yeah, but both of those shows just keep getting better season after season. It's crazy.
Yeah, I saw. I wish I could remember what I saw now, but I saw an advert for the new season, I think, of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Mm.
And it looks interesting, but it's like, I know it's by the same guys who did Parks and Rec, and I know I'm probably gonna love it,
Yeah, and
but I also need to, do other stuff.
it doesn't have that problem that a lot of comedy shows do, where it's like just get through the first season or two. They're bad, but they get better. It's like
Fucking Parks and Rec is the definition of a worst first season, followed by every single other
every
moment of
season
that
is
show is gold.
what, like 6 or 8 episodes or something,
I
and
think
it's
it's
just
six.
rough.
This is
Hmm.
the thing. Every time I see a clip of Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, I'm like, this seems like a really good show. And then I watch like 2 or 3 episodes, and I'm like, this show sucks.
That first
Honestly,
season sucks.
honestly, I would even say skip the first season, but unfortunately, there's a lot of character building in that
Yeah.
first season that you kind of need.
And it's really short, thankfully. And like
I
season
would.
2, episode 1 is a banger, and it never lets up.
It 100%. It just gets better from there.
Yep.
Like, and Ron and what's a face fucking steal that show for me. Ron and
Leslie?
no,
Oh, April?
thank you.
Yeah.
Ron and April steal it.
Yep.
Like those two, especially
Unlikely
their
duo.
relationship with each other is fucking incredible as it goes on. Until Ben shows up, because I can relate to Ben.
He's
Could
so
a
good
depressed
in that.
person make this?
Oh, I have 51 emails. Why
Dude.
would that be?
Don't show off. I've got like 5,000 emails.
No, like, I keep all my stuff unread all the time. Oh, my email thing didn't update yesterday. Cool. My phone is dying, so I just
Mine too.
a lot of weird shit happening on my phone.
Nice.
All right. Well, are you guys ready to get started?
No, 1 second.
Okay.
I can't write for shit. Also, I need to take my tablet off my desk. I forgot.
Get
If
the
you hear a
words.
wibbling in the microphone, patrons, that's just me writing. Yeah. Okay, that's good. I think that's all the games I played. Let's just go.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpeer
Hello.
and the Nimp.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers, early access, behind the scenes, all the good stuff. They just updated their iOS app where you can get your RSS feed in the app now, which is fantastic. So if that's
About
not
time.
in,
Number one.
if that's not in your podcatcher, toss that bad boy in there and make it a little bit easier on yourself. Patreon.com/E1M1. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
No. I don't know. We're not going to move on that quickly. We're going to keep talking about the patron. I'm going to say thank you to everybody who is a patron. Thank you for your support. Tell a friend, tell them to support, and get them numbers up, because sooner or later Boston will have 100 patrons, and then he'll have to do the thing he promised on air to do.
There you go.
Even though he didn't write it down yet, but we remember.
We remember. We have the memory of rocks.
Yeah.
We
yes.
know.
Thank you to everyone. Also, I'm pretty sure it's teespring.com/E1M1.
There's a merch link on the right-hand side of the page, tvgp.tv.
There we go. Go do that.
Yeah.
Check that out. Get involved with that. Get yourself
Anyways,
some sweet swag.
what have you
yes.
been playing this past week?
What have I been playing? Okay, so Dead by Friday happened, only for a very short while, because by the time I got into it, thank you, Van Brace, it was only like one round and we were having issues. But friends of the show again, Rob, Jason, Justin, let's go. Thank you very much, guys. Good fun night. You know, generally speaking, it's just chat time at this point, where it's like I'm gonna barely pay attention to this and just focus on having a chat with some guys, which is fun. Always a laugh. If you want to play, learn how to play, or need help, just send me a message. You know how to get in touch with me by now. I'm sure that's on the right-hand side of the page too.
Yeah, maybe. Probably.
I would like to bring a point of order to the courtroom, if I may please, Your Honor.
Yes, Counsel.
I believe that Mr. Boston has been shirking on his duties recently.
Oh boy, here we
For
go.
2 weeks in a row now. I would like to bring this evidence labeled A, saying that he missed another release, because we did have a release that came out last week.
Okay.
What
I
was
didn't
that?
play it, but it's called Space Engineers, and it's finally available on the Xbox One. Oh no, I need to not load it up ever.
Okay.
I'm terrified of what that game is going to do to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Space Engineers came out recently. Expect me to probably jump into that at some point soon, and then never play anything again.
Is that an early access game?
It was until this week, past week, when it just came out.
Maybe why.
Yes.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
did
those games that move out of early access or
They
Xbox
never do
preview,
announcements for it.
Yeah, they'll like put out a press release, and I don't always snag those.
Yeah, that's fine. I
In
figured.
defense of Boston, I looked too, and I didn't see Jack. So
Yeah,
You know what's funny? I did too, and I didn't see it either.
yeah.
So all three of us are failures, is what I'm learning there.
yeah, I'm just a pretty face.
Okay, so let's get on to the actual real meat and to veg of these games. Attack of the Toy Tanks.
Oh boy.
I like how you say that so judgmentally, without even knowing what it is. The judgment is visible in the voice.
I feel like this is probably an easy 1,000 gamer score.
1,000% yes.
Yeah.
And it's not bad.
Okay.
It's a top-down arena-style shooter. It's like toy box based, so it's like based inside of like a little wooden toy box, and you're a tank and you shoot the other tanks. It's kind of fun. It's kind of stupid. It's $2, so definitely worth the money in that case. I had a decent little fun time playing with it. One downside, tank controls. I know, shocker, a tank controls like a tank, but you know, I don't like tank controls.
Jimbo Jangles in chat says it's a visual novel, right? Yep.
No, it's an audio-visual novel.
About tanks.
That's right.
But I mean, it's fine. It's fun. I had a good 2 hours with it, and then I uninstalled it.
Yeah.
So
$1 an hour.
I kind of need this right now. This palate cleanser of let's not think about everything else. Because when I get to my final game this week, obviously very applicable. I played Full Blast. Don't say my word again, please, Boston. Because yes, this is another one of those games.
Okay.
This one is a vertical shmup. It's not bad, actually. Controlled really well. It's got the old power-up system where you get power-ups and you shoot things and they blow up and they go boom. It's a decent little arcade game. Like, it's nothing. It's got 10 stages on it. I played like 5 and I was like, okay, I think I've had my fill now. I don't need to keep playing this game anymore.
Well, it's like Demon's Tilt, where like you kind of keep that installed, and you know if you're looking for something to play, it's like, yeah, I could play a little bit of that.
Yeah, there's a reason I still have Pinball FX 2 and 3 installed on my system right now. Because it's like, I could go and play the Bob's Burgers table. I can do that. There's a Star Wars table there I own and I haven't barely played. I can do that for 10 minutes, can't I?
Yeah.
It's a fun little game. It's not terrible. Again, I was just looking for some quick little little sandwich snacky bites of games, and I got my fill from those 2, and then purchased another 2 that I haven't started yet. But I'm sure you'll hear about them soon. The reason for this, on top of my mental health things, by the way, is because secretly I have been watching the Gamerscore leaderboards this entire year of Lord 2020.
Uh-oh.
In January, I was number 1. In February, I was number 2. No, I was number 1. And then in March, I was number 1. And then April rolls around, I go back to work, and everything hits the fan, and all of a sudden, someone is 3,000 Gamerscore ahead of me in the middle of April.
Whoa.
I ain't standing for that.
No.
So I will do what it takes to keep my streak alive. I am the Undertaker at WrestleMania. I will have my 2020 Year of Moonpear is #1 on the Gamerscore leaderboard.
That's right. 12 months of #1.
12 months of domination.
That's
I
right.
will have it all. Granted, that's usually me most months, but people do compete, and my wife will hear this, and then she will troll me by deliberately beating me 1 month.
Yeah.
I know she will.
Right.
Like, it's just going to be that. I just know it. But yes, I'm back to #1 on my Gamerscore leaderboard again now.
That's right. Your rightful
Thank you very
place.
much. Which, speaking of, thank you, Rob, during Dead by Friday for that. Because he literally responded, like, we were talking about something, and he was like, sometimes I just look at it, it's like, oh, I wonder what Moon's been playing. It's like, what is that game? What is that game? I bet you they're easy achievement games, because this is like the Moonpear roulette. Like, just seeing what games that I come up with just randomly on my gamer card. It's like, okay, clearly he's playing these games that are easy.
Sometimes you find a gem, man. Sometimes you find a train simulator, a toy train simulator.
The tracks is really solid.
Yep.
Have you played that with your daughter yet?
No. Not yet.
It's gonna leave Game Pass soon.
Yeah.
So
It's probably
give
only
that a shot.
$5 anyway, so.
Yeah, that's true. And my final game this week, Resident Evil 3.
Aha.
Seen some tweets about this.
Yes. I may or may not have beat that game 4 times yesterday. And I'm not talking like, end of game to finishing the game.
Sure.
Or like last checkpoint. I'm talking start, finish, finish 4 times yesterday.
Hot 90-minute runs here.
The fastest one was 63 minutes.
Wow.
And that was on the hardest difficulty.
Jeez.
Because I did my whole playthrough unassisted, don't open the item box, don't open blah blah blah, do these stupid hard ones.
No saving.
Get them out the way. Yeah, basically. Yeah. I got those ones out the way. So I got enough store points, which is the game now has challenges, and once you beat the game the first time, these challenges give you points. You use those points in the store to unlock things for the game. Okay. So you can start the game with an additional 2 hit pouches, which is 4 inventory slots.
Ooh.
Really helpful when you unlock them. The most expensive thing in the shop is a 68,000 cost of an infinite rocket launcher.
Aha.
So I may or may not have started it on normal mode and ran through it to get an S, then hardcore mode and ran through it to get an S, and then very difficult mode and ran through it and got an S, and then Inferno mode, the hardest difficulty, and ran through it and got an S.
Okay.
And literally my save times were like 1 hour and 20, 1 hour and 17, 1 hour and 10, and then 1 hour and 3.
Jeez.
So I progressively got faster and more optimized as I was doing each run, and I may or may not have full 1000 gamer score in Resident Evil 3 and already uninstalled it from my system.
Jeez.
Nice.
Year of Moonpear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Year of Moonpear.
Yeah.
It's fun. We've discussed this several times. Like, as grown-up adults, sometimes we don't want an Elite Dangerous. Sometimes we don't want Destiny. Sometimes we don't want a game that's going to take us 70,000 hours to do. Sometimes we want a nice 90-minute game, a nice 10-hour single-player experience.
Yep. You want a Battle Chasers Night where it's like, I did the whole thing in about 10 hours.
Yeah, and sometimes that's perfect. Sometimes that's exactly what you need. My total playtime in Resident Evil 3 for full game score is 22 hours.
Nice.
And considering I beat the game like 7 times, I am perfectly happy with that because it was a nice, quick, easy thing. Well, not easy on the hardest difficulty because, hardest difficulty, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was good to just get in, play it, and be done. My wife is playing DayZ, the console release at this moment in time. And in my headspace right now, in my mental health state and in the condition of me, nothing could be further from me wanting to play it than a game that requires that much attention and time.
And, dedication.
Yeah, I don't have that in me right now. There's a reason why Deus Ex has been sitting on my hard drive for years.
Mm-hmm.
There is a reason why Gungeon has been sitting on my hard drive for years.
Yeah.
It's because I don't want to dedicate that amount of my brain power to that kind of game right now. I love them, and I'm sure I'll fall in love with them all over again when I'm playing it. But right now, no. Give me nice, quick, bite-sized experiences like this, and I'll be perfectly happy. $60 for Resident Evil 3, and I do not feel like that was a waste.
Yeah.
I enjoyed pretty much every single thing I was playing in it, and by the time I got to the last boss on the hardest difficulty, and he literally triple changes you and kills you if you don't dodge, I was still having fun. The game still looks great, and I was timing up my end of the movie or end of the game lines, so I was literally quoting it word for word by the end of the game. And it's like, fine, that's what I wanted. I enjoyed it, and if you are a Resident Evil fan and you liked RE2, I haven't read into what they're doing with the new ones. Specifically, I know there's a lot of scuttlebutt with what's going on with Capcom right now with what they're thinking going forwards.
Sure.
But I'm happy with this. I'm happy I bought this for $60. I'm happy I enjoyed my time with it. It was a good 2 weeks of playing basically just this and then little sprinklings of Apex and everything else. Oh yeah, I played a crap ton of Apex because there is a week left in the season pass as of this Tuesday. So add that to every list ever for me. But it was fun. I had a good time. I'm fine with that. If you like it, if you watch a video or a clip of it and you think you like the look of it, just go play it. Just give it a shot. And I know Rob also is enjoying his time with it, and I don't think either of us are lamenting the fact, I paid $60 for this. It's like, you also paid $60 for the Call of Duty 8-hour campaign, but you're not complaining about that so much, are you?
Yeah, like Titanfall 2's campaign was super short, but it was stupid good, and no one's like, you know, it's still, I mean, who cares how long it is if you had a lot of fun?
Yeah, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Resident Evil 3. I have a newfound respect for Jill, because I didn't like her in the slightest from my past relationship with Jill.
Right.
Now I sound like I'm speaking like an ex-girlfriend.
The first time we dated.
Yeah, it wasn't great. You know, there was a mansion, then there was a guy chasing her all the time.
A lot of police stations.
You know, the whole Scott Pilgrim, you know, my 7 deadly exes or whatever. She's only got 1 deadly ex, but oh boy, is he a big boy.
Right.
I feel like they fleshed out her character so much better in this because, hey, guess what? Voice acting. Hey, guess what? A face that's not a cube.
Right.
You know, it's much more easy to relate to her in this situation, and I thoroughly enjoyed the break. Now I need to figure out what I'm going to play next as my big investment of time kind of thing, but we'll see how that goes. I've got 300 games to choose from, 302 now that I've got 2 more to play. Well, it was fine. If you like Resident Evil, you already know. You probably already bought it, played it, beat it just like me. That's fine.
That's true.
You know, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing.
All right, Nimp, how about you?
Cool. So at work, I've been bringing my Switch a lot because third shift's still been dead.
Yeah.
So I've been playing a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm in Chapter 8. A lot of interesting story stuff has finally developed this late in the game, believe it or not. You're finally starting to see things from past games getting mixed in with this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it doesn't all make sense, mostly because I haven't played a lot of the past games in a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't remember how this is really tying in with Xenogears or Xenoblades or, you know, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, Xenogears is what, 20 years old by this point?
About, yeah, 2021. Yeah, I think it came out the same year as Final Fantasy VIII, didn't it?
It was like 97, 98, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and that was a slog. Not many people have beaten that game.
Yeah.
I did, and that hurt. So.
Yeah,
But anyway, so a lot of developments with how everything's starting to tie together, because if you didn't know, the Chronicle games do tie in with the past Gears, Blades games, whatever they're calling the whole thing now. It's just I don't remember what the upset was, but there was issues with Square at the time.
Yeah.
And certain producers and developers didn't like what Square was doing, so they went off, did their own studio, and this is all spiritually successing from everything else.
Yeah, it's like Xenogears, Xenosaga, and Xenoblade are all in the same universe.
Yeah, because from what I remember, Xenogears was supposed to be like 9 games altogether or something like that.
And Xenogears is like chapter 4 or chapter
Yeah.
7 of the story or
They
something.
did the whole Star Wars thing where they started you right in the middle, and then the
Yeah.
other games disperse within the timeline. It's a whole mess that you need to read up on to figure out what's going on. And
Yeah.
even then, but anyway, so this game's finally picked up story-wise. A character in the game that you find out that they are a blade, which if you don't know, a blade is basically this thing that you get from a crystal core, and it's kind of like a summon that you constantly have with you that helps you fight. This person turns out to be a blade, which you kind of see coming, but not really. You know that there's something going on with this person, but you're not sure what. So that turns into a whole big thing. One blade that you have now has 3 different forms, and it goes all anime, herp derp, and now I'm in this crazy ancient location that looks like modern civilization, but in the future.
Oh.
Yeah, things happened. So,
Right.
but yeah, the game's taking a crazy turn. So I'm still enjoying it. The whole reason I took this game on a break was just because the story just wasn't there in the beginning. It definitely follows the old JRPG rule of it gets good after 40 hours.
Right.
I'm 48 hours into the game, and I'm like, oh, hey, the story's starting to really come together now.
The story's back.
Yeah. So, and I think it also helped, too, that I've also stopped doing a ton of the side quests like I had been doing.
Yeah.
So I'm just currently right now just mainlining the story quest so I can get that going. And then eventually I'll probably pick up a bunch of the side quests as well. It's just my quest log is already up to like 8 pages.
Jeez.
And there's, 6 quests on each page. So
Oh, wow.
it's a lot of random crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, next game that I was playing, Yakuza Kiwami.
Yeah.
I have made it to chapter 11. I have gone through the obligatory highway scene
Yep.
that I'm pretty sure was in the first game as well, in Zero.
Yep.
Yep.
This section feels like it should have been a light gun section in an arcade. And it does horribly on controllers. And that is my dog in the background, and I don't know why she always chooses to bark whenever it's time for me to talk. Whatever.
Someone's talking in the house.
Hey, your dog and Boston's neighbors are clearly related in some way.
Yep. Yeah, I'm waiting for them to start.
Mowing or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got past that highway chase scene. I'm in chapter 11 now. I found out that somebody has been betraying me and leaking information. Found out who that person was. Yeah. Yeah. And that's about it, really. Like, the story just kind of died off. It's like, all right, you're back in the world. Go figure something out.
Yep. Go play
Okay.
slot car racing.
Yeah. Still haven't found Majima, although I think it was Gibbinator on Discord had said to look for giant cones of some sort.
Oh, like the giant construction cones?
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, I haven't even seen anything that looks like it would be out of place, giant or not. So
Yeah.
I'll probably have to look up a guide or something and be like, where is he?
Right.
So I will find him one day. I don't know. Oh, and then the other thing with this game, it wants you to investigate a soap land.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know, and judging by Moon here, I didn't know what this was.
Wait, are we talking soap like the thing you clean yourself with,
Yeah.
or soap like soap opera?
SOAP, and then land. So I Googled this, figuring that this was going to take me down some weird red light district stuff, and it does.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently a soap land is a quote-unquote legal version of a brothel where they're not necessarily doing things to you, but they're just help getting you clean.
Yeah. Wink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a thing, and I read a bunch of other things that also do these things.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was a weird rabbit hole to fall down for this game.
Yep.
Go down the Japanese semi-illegal rabbit hole.
Yeah, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
Enjoy your auto search results, your
Right.
search filters after this.
Yeah.
You're just gonna see what is Soapland.
Right.
Yeah. After that, played some Call of Duty this weekend. They have the quad teams up and running, the quad squads. So in
Yep.
Warzone,
Quad
you can play with 4
squads.
people. In Warzone, you can play with 4 people now. So a bunch of people that I've been neglecting for the past week and a half, we finally got together and played that and did pretty good. Got up to second place, but we couldn't get first place this weekend.
Nice.
It just was not happening. But hiding in bushes are apparently the way for me to win this, because it never seems to fail that my team will die, I will hide in a bush, and I can get us to second place.
Bushes and bathtubs, they're the key to all battle royales.
I guess, yeah. And then, yeah, that was about it. I played a lot of online, just multiplayer, random stuff. But just kind of messing around. I've been neglecting everything pretty much. The only reason why I've played these other games was because I finally beat Final Fantasy VII Friday night.
I finally got some time in this week to play that game.
Yeah. Any waking moment that I had that I could play that game, I did.
Yeah.
And it took a lot for me to not bring my PS4 in to play the game to work. So yeah, I have beaten the game. It took me 35 hours.
Nice.
That was doing a lot of the side quests. I think I have all the side quests done, but there's a couple odds and ends stuff that I'm still missing. Like, I know I missed a weapon that I can steal from a boss.
Right.
Apparently, I missed a weapon for Barrett that I didn't even know I could get. And there's a music thing that I missed. I'm missing one there's like 31 soundtracks that you can buy. I'm missing one of them.
I feel like I missed one along the way too, where I have like 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. And I was like, oh
no, they're all in a jacked up order.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good and bad.
That was the biggest problem, was trying to figure out the one that I was missing.
Right.
A lot of the stuff online does it in the order that you find them. So I'm like, hey, I'm missing number 26.
Right.
The only thing I could find online was the 26th music album single that you could find. So then I had to dig to figure out, what is the actual song number 26?
Right, just put them in order.
Song? Yeah, and then figure out where I could find it. So the one that I'm missing, I'll just tell you guys right now because it's not a spoiler, but you just have to get really good marks with the Honeybee minigame, the practice that you do. You have to get 10 perfects on that, and then you get it.
Oh, nice.
So it's not something that you're missing in the world. It was just I didn't get 10 perfect on the practice.
Potion and music vending machines.
Yeah, no. So I really like the game.
Yeah.
I did manage to get, to me, the good-looking dress. I think there's 3 different versions that you can get for Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa still.
Yeah, there are 3, yeah.
Aerith got, I would say, the good-looking dress. I can't imagine what would look better on her. Cloud ended up with like this goth dress that looks surprisingly good on him.
Great.
And then Tifa just got, because apparently with Tifa's, you get like this question I think it's like chapter 3 or 4 or something like that, where she asks you a question about something.
That's what that question was about. I just answered that, and I was like, why am I answering this question? Okay.
Yeah, so that ties into what dress she will wear for that portion of the game.
Right.
So you can go back and change it. Once you beat the game, you do unlock hard mode, and you unlock chapter select. And chapter select it'll tell you, if you missed any songs or whatever, this is the chapter you missed it in. There's manuscripts that you won't unlock, and the manuscripts give you the extra SP that you can put into your weapons to upgrade them more.
Oh, cool.
You get extra manuscripts from beating each chapter in hard mode. And hard mode is no joke.
Oh, really?
You can't use items at all. At all.
Okay.
You do not regenerate MP at all. The bench does not heal your MP. It only heals your HP. So basically the MP that you come into a chapter with is the MP that you have.
Oh, wow.
I believe you're still gaining, because in normal mode you would still get MP as the battle went on.
Yeah.
I think that's still happening, but I think it's to a far lesser degree than it was in normal mode.
Right.
So you have to be very, very conscious of what you're using your magic for.
Wow.
So I've had to start changing things where I'm using ability materia to heal myself, like the chakra materia and the prayer materia.
Right.
Those will heal your party, or prayer will heal your party for 2 AT bars. and then the chakra will heal you, but it's based on how much damage you've taken. So the more damage or the less health that you currently have, the more it will heal you.
Right.
So you're playing this kind of weird, dangerous game where, yeah, I can constantly use chakra, but it's not going to heal me as much because I'm trying to get back up to full health.
Interesting.
At least the first boss in Chapter 1, the Scorpion boss that you fight, I've noticed that there's a little bit of change in its behavior and how it fights.
Oh, cool.
It does the Scorpion Tail Blast twice now, instead of just once, which I was not expecting because I did the whole hide behind the barrier. It blew up the barrier, and then I went into attack, and all of a sudden I noticed that its tail was charging, and then it blew up Cloud. And I'm like, oh, this sucked.
Oh, that's why they gave me 2 barriers. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's constantly throwing up like that barrier that it has. So then you have to constantly try to get its generator.
Right.
And that's a pain because you're basically doing the same amount of damage in hard mode as you were when you first started playing the game, where you're just doing like 10, 12 points of damage, maybe, on a good hit. Yeah. So that game is a lot longer, or I'm sorry, that boss fight is a lot longer than even the first time. But yeah, I really love this game. The story goes some places. There are things that deviate from the original story, and towards the end of the game, they do get into the deviations a little bit and kind of explain what's going on. And obviously, I'm not going to get into it because it's a whole thing, but they do come around and explain some things, and they take some wild turns with the stuff. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I've been trying to motor my way through the game now because I feel like enough people are finishing the game now that I feel like I'm going to open up Twitter one of these days and everyone's like, isn't all this stuff at the end of this crazy? And just here's all the stuff.
Yeah. That was kind of why I mained it, just because I didn't want to get spoiled on anything. And there is a lot to get spoiled on, unfortunately.
That's the surprising thing. Is like, so the part that I'm at, I just finished, to sort of frame it on the original game, I just fought Airbuster and I just fell through into Aerith's church.
Yep.
And yeah, the amount of stuff that is different in this game is pretty exciting. And one of the things leading up to that that fight when you're going through the Sector 5 plate?
Sector 5 slums.
Yeah, no, like right after that. Or right before that, when you're up like in the plate with the sun lamps. I think the best thing that I like about this remake is when you're down in the slums or when you're up in like the bottom of the plate. Unlike the original game, you can actually see the scale of the world this time. Like when you're in the slums and you're looking up, I never realized how far up that plate is and how huge it is. And then sort of the inverse of it when you're up in the girders of the plate and you're looking down and just seeing how huge the slums are underneath. In the first game, it's sort of like, you're in a villa, you're in like a town, and here's a couple of buildings. It's like, no, there's just thousands of buildings there in one sector, and there's just, you can see how much stuff is under there. It's wild. I think that's some of the stuff that I love the most. Is I like all the new story stuff they're putting in, but just some of the scale stuff they're doing is crazy. And the boss fights are all so... Now that I'm getting a better handle on the battle system, the more fun I'm having with these boss fights.
Well, once you get into the Shinra building, it feels like it's kind of a museum piece.
Oh, cool.
Which is really awesome because it kind of goes in and explains a lot of stuff, but you see, because there's a lot of set pieces and there's showrooms like there was in the original.
Yeah.
But now you can actually see these things in like 3D models, so you can actually go up to it and look at it, and some of the things you can actually walk around. Yeah. So that's really cool, and they actually walk you through. There's a literal museum in the Shinra building that you have to go through so that you can get your passes to go to the other levels.
Right.
So there's like actual walkthroughs and, people talking, and
that's cool.
It's pretty awesome. And they keep a lot of the personality as well, because there's one part where you get to the science division and Hojo is just a complete douche about
Right.
him having to record and all this stuff. So it's
That's really
pretty
good.
awesome.
Man. I'm really happy with how this remake has turned out. I know there are some people that are online that are just complaining about it, and it seems like, well, I don't like how the music transitions from one track to another, and it's like, it's such weird complaints about a game that's so incredibly well put together. Like, each individual piece of music from Final Fantasy VII now has 3 or 4 versions of it, because it's like, is it the quiet nighttime version? Is it the regular version? Remember, is it the one where you're fighting? Is it the one where you're fighting a boss? Like, there's so much stuff in this game that's so well done, and I think I'm really impressed by how they've taken the story. And I was worried about it feeling like they just took the story and they just stretched it out into like this 2-3 hour section into 40 hours, and we're stuffing it full of BS, and it's just all the stuff in there feels really great. Like when you're at the beginning, this isn't a spoiler, but at the beginning when you finally get into like Seventh Heaven and the slums around it, like the character building they do with Tifa alone, about how she's like an important part of her the town and the society, and she's not just running this bar, like she's an important part of all this stuff, is really pretty great. Like it's way better than I was hoping it would be.
And it just looks so pretty.
It looks so good. It's just like when they zoom in on a character's face, and I'm just like, I keep like elbowing my wife and be like, look at how good this looks, and she's like, yeah, I know, yeah, okay. Like, but it looks so good.
When you had brought up too about being underneath the plate and looking down and all that, there's a couple other spots where you're way high up too, and you can look down, and they've got like that 2D rendered, background kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's, in some sections that I'd been in, it looks like the old art. They just pulled it from the original and put it in there because it still looks gritty. It's pop marked.
Yeah.
It had like that weird, I don't know, it just felt and looked really cool the way that they did it, where it's like you're on this high res tower with these high res characters, and then you're looking down and you just see like this pockmarked earth with all these dirty, dingy buildings. It's like, no, that looks about right. So
there was one shot when you were disabling the sun lamps too, where it just like, it had like this PS1 angle to it, where it had like the sun lamp was right in the middle, and it was doing this like really slow pan around it, and I was like, man, that's just a shot that would have been in the original, and just there's something about it where I'm like, oh yeah, that's the stuff. That's the good Final Fantasy VII stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, this game's really great. There's still a lot of stuff. I still got to upgrade my weapons, because they do one of the mechanics in the game is you have weapon levels, kind of. Yeah. Where as you level up and as you put SP into your weapons, you can upgrade your weapons, and eventually that upgrades this whole weapon tier thing. I'm halfway to level 6, which is the max level, I believe. And I kind of like how they do that, because they kind of make the older weapons viable. I mean, they're still not going to be great compared to the newer stuff that you have, but if you want to run around with a Buster Sword on normal, if you put enough points into it, it could still be a viable thing. I mean, it may not be the best. Yeah, it may not be the best attacking or magic attacking weapon that you have, but it has other, I guess, like skill sets in it that could help you with whatever build you're trying to accomplish.
And being able to see the sword on your back with the materia you have slotted into it on your back is just, every time I see it in a cutscene, I'm like, oh yeah, that's really good. So that's all I'm gonna say on that game, because I'm gonna start getting into spoiler territory, because there is a lot to talk about with that game. But I mean, it's pretty great. Very excited to keep playing it.
Yeah. So that's literally all I've been playing. Like I said, I wouldn't have had other games if I didn't beat Final Fantasy Friday night. Everything else besides Xenoblade, I played yesterday.
Right. Right.
That's all I've been playing.
All I really played this week was a little bit of Division 2. I'm working towards the last craftable exotic I have, and it's basically, I already have the first part, which means the other pieces will drop from invaded strongholds, and only one of the strongholds is invaded every week, so I basically just have to play a bunch of missions to played that Stronghold to get the piece, and then after a couple weeks I'll have the exotic. There's also title update 9 is coming out on Tuesday, the 21st. So that's their next big patch where they're putting in a bunch of new features. So didn't really spend a bunch of time playing it this week because I know I'll probably spend time next week. There's like a new seasonal manhunt, and there's a bunch of stuff that'll be going live next week. So might as well save my play time for that and play more Final Fantasy VII. But that's all I've played this week. So let's take a break.
Oh yeah.
Did you seriously just do?
Skype is causing me so many issues lately with this. Like, one of the channels in my headphones will go really quiet all of a sudden, which isn't frustrating at all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's absolutely fine. They missed
Nothing.
Look at everything's fine. Nothing's gone wrong so far.
Yeah, nothing wrong with my only computer that is running this whole fucking network. No big deal. Let me see if there's any last news stories here real quick, because we don't really have much here for this segment. Yeah,
There's really a whole lot that happened. Yeah, I was gonna say.
No. Yeah, just kind of another quiet week. A lot of companies working from home.
Yep.
All right. I am ready to start whenever you guys are.
I mean, I guess technically you could put in that, what was it, that Cyberpunk 2020 Xbox console.
I really like that, especially the glow-in-the-dark graffiti on the side. I don't like the controller.
I hate how good all of those consoles look. Like, almost every single Xbox, like, game-specific console always looks banger.
Yep.
And I don't know why I'm using the term banger so much this week, but apparently it's my word of the week. I've used it like 10 times so far today, just in recording alone.
Right.
But the Minecraft one, the Xbox One Minecraft one, was a work of art.
Those controllers looked kind of cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Sea of Thieves one looked cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Sea of Thieves controller I loved because one of the bumpers, I think it was golden, like a golden.
It was the trigger, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the crazy stuff that I like. Because I wish, you guys remember that Gears of War custom-made one where it was all, it wasn't just the console, like they put like a whole skin over it and you had like all the bumps and stuff and that cog was 3D and all that. I kind of wish they would go more into that space instead of it just being like a skin that just gets painted on. But those would probably be massively expensive.
Yeah. There was that purple Saints Row one that I thought was super cool, but I think that was only an S, if I remember. Like, that was the big problem with it.
Yeah, the 360 Star Wars one was amazing too.
Oh, the R2-D2 one?
Yeah.
And the controller was C-3PO.
Yep.
That I wanted so bad, but that was also kind of... Because I think that one was one of the first ones that came with a terabyte hard drive. So it put it at like $400 or something like that.
It had the different noises too when you turned it on.
Yeah. It had the
when you turned it on,
R2-D2 noises. Yeah. Which was why I wanted it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good.
Yep.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of April 20th, 2020. Picross S4 comes out on the Switch. I have bought and played all of the other ones, and I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up this one because it's kind of... I haven't finished the other ones, and each one keeps getting way bigger. So...
Didn't you recently just play a giant Konami-based Picross game on your phone as well?
I sure did, and that one... I'm surprised that didn't come out on Switch. It seems like it'd be a good place for that. But yeah, go play Konami Pixel Puzzle Arcade, was it called?
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Go play that. That was really good. Sunless Sea Submariner Edition comes out on Xbox One and Switch.
Spoiler alert. Don't buy this game.
If you listen to We Roguelike It, you'll know that this is at the bottom of our list of the best roguelikes of all time. Again, not a bad game.
I believe the term of the week of glacial is
glacial
our best.
pace. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely not a bad game. Not a game that...
It did not click with us at all.
It didn't click with us, and I don't know what time frame I would play this in that it would click with me. I'm not entirely sure. But it's now available on pretty much everything now. I don't know if it'd be better on Switch or not. Not a recommendation from us. Trials of Mana comes out on the Switch, PC, and PS4. This is, unsurprisingly, a Square Enix game's naming convention is confusing. This isn't Seiken Densetsu 3. That came with Collection of Mana. That was their translation of the Super NES game. This is their remake of the Super NES game. So I'm hearing that this game is actually really pretty good. So if you liked stuff like Secret of Mana, this is the sequel to that. And apparently this HD remake is pretty good.
I gotta get into both of those eventually.
Yeah, one of these days.
Yeah.
And lastly, XCOM Chimera Squad comes out on PC. They just kind of announced this, saying, hey, there's a new XCOM game coming out, and it's out on the 24th. And it seemed $10.
More like people noticed it was on the store and they were like, what's this? And then the announcement came out saying, like, hey, we released this.
Yeah, right. That's coming out this week. Yeah, thanks for reminding us. So for the first, I think, week it's out, it's $10. It's normally $20. It's not a full XCOM game. It plays the same, but it seems like it's a lot less about... It's a spin-off game, and it's more about, here's the squad of characters you have that you're going to grow throughout mission over mission, as opposed to I'm going to recruit my teammates and name them and then grow them.
Here's all your red shirts, have at it.
Yeah, exactly. So it seems like it could be really interesting as this kind of spin-off thing, but I'm going to keep an eye out for some reviews on that one, because that could sort of go either way. Only one news story this week. Bloomberg reports that Sony is scaling back PS5 production numbers. So there's actually kind of a couple of things here in this news story. Bloomberg has been historically pretty good on PS5 rumors over the last year or so. Sony, it looks like it might be scaling back production to about 5 to 6 million units of the PS5 in its first year. As comparison, they produced 7.5 million PS4s in its first year. The largest factor in this seems to be price. Both the price of manufacturing it, the cost of manufacturing it, and then the price of the unit. Some developers that are working with PS5 right now are estimating the launch price to be $500 to $550, while some analysts are suggesting that it'll sell as a loss leader at $450. For comparison, the PS4 launched at $400. So it seems like at a premium price, they are probably going to be making a lot less consoles because they won't be selling more of them because of the higher price.
Yeah.
And Sony is saying, and everybody's saying, that this is not related to COVID-19. It doesn't appear that has affected any of their manufacturing efforts. It does...
That's a lie.
Well, both Microsoft and Sony have said, and Nintendo have all said, like, that's not affecting our manufacturing at all. I'm not sure if they actually mean stock, because especially Nintendo has a fair amount of Switch stock until coronavirus hit, and then everybody bought them. But
yep.
It does appear that has affected Sony's promotional efforts, though. Apparently, they were supposed to have an unannounced press conference recently that would have unveiled the release date and price, but that had to get canceled because they were having trouble sort of, with everybody working remotely at this point, they were having trouble getting that together, as opposed to, here's a live stream, Sean Layden is on a stage. He doesn't work there anymore, but like the new guy is on the stage and here's the price. But apparently they're getting that together now. So
I would say it may not have, COVID may not have affected their manufacturing, but I would have to believe that their marketing division looked at the numbers and it's like, hey, there's not a lot of people working right now, and there's not a lot of people that can have the extra money to buy our console right now. So
especially at a premium price, like
yeah,
spending money has bottomed out right now. So
Yeah.
saying go ahead.
I was just going to say, for me, it's the manufacturing word that makes me laugh, because it probably didn't affect the manufacturing,
Right.
but I bet you it affected the shipping of those to the places where it all gets put together.
Yeah, and like delivering consoles to places right now would be a nightmare because all of the delivery lines, the shipping routes and everything are just totally pooched at the moment. So
well, and a lot of the stores aren't open that can sell these consoles.
right. Yep.
I mean, you can still, like with Best Buy, depending on where you live, they're still doing curbside pickup.
Yeah.
But a lot of other places are just flat out closed because they're not deemed a necessary, business right now, an essential business. So they don't, even if they could ship them, nobody can sell them right now. So
yeah, and I can only imagine from both Sony and Microsoft's standpoint, they kind of don't want to announce release date and price quite yet, because here's our $500 and $550 console that you can't afford and you can't buy in stores right now. See you later. So like, it's not the time you really announce that stuff, which has to be frustrating, but that's just kind of the place we're in right now. Other than that, it's been a quiet week, so let's move on to questions. T-Bomb Rocks asks in Discord, with the recent update to Fallout 76, it seems like Bethesda has finally started to get the game on track. Do you feel they can gain the success that Final Fantasy XIV did with their MMO?
Nope. And I'm not trying to be rude when I say no.
No, I don't think you're wrong.
Look at what Final Fantasy had to do.
We're gonna turn it off and turn it back on again. Like
turn it off, rebuild it, and then turn it back on again.
Feasibly, any MMO could turn around like Final Fantasy XIV did.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
The question, I would say, the question is more: will they turn around like Final Fantasy XIV did?
From the feedback I've been hearing about, was this the Wastelanders update? Is that what they're calling it? I've heard that it's largely a very positive change for Fallout 76, but I think you're running into Fallout 76 is running into two large problems. One is the launch was bad, and there has been virtually...
The marketing was probably bad too, and the physical distribution of items was bad too.
It's true. Bag-related items.
The apologies were bad as well.
Yeah, like it's one thing for it to have a bad launch. Like, look at No Man's Sky. There's a reason why Hello Games just kind of went dark for a while. It's because every time Bethesda tries to do something better or apologize or something, it just gets worse. They've had no positive press since the game really launched. And I think coupling that with the fact that a lot of people that played the game saw that Bethesda wasn't moving super fast, is I feel like Final Fantasy XIV, when that launched and went real bad, pretty quickly they were like, okay, we're going to start this game back over, but we need time to work on it. So if you continue to play the game while we're working on it, you'll get all these bonuses when 2.0 comes out. And Bethesda sort of seems like, yeah, man, Fallout 70, that's our game. Super proud of it. Good job, team. It's like, yeah, but it's a woof. Like, it's just... Yeah, just... I don't know. I feel Nimp is right. I think any of these games can come back, but they've done the good first step, which is they've stuck with it. They haven't said like, well, we had a good 2.5 months and it just didn't work out, so servers are getting shut off next week. They haven't done that. Yeah,
so far they have Ubisofted this and not EA'd it.
Yes. Yes. Hopefully no one is new to video games, because that won't make any sense. But that is the perfect analogy. They just need to stick with it. They need to keep working on it. They need to make it a great thing. Because I think so many games nowadays have shown people are still playing Final Fantasy 11, and that game is 15 years old.
People are still playing the first Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare.
Sure, I mean, people are still playing RuneScape. Like, just people won't mind playing your game for 10, 15, 20 years, World of Warcraft, as long as you continue to support it and kind of keep moving it forward. They'll stick with it, and people will come back for like, hey, here's the big new expansion. Stuff is really great. Then they come back for a month or two, and then they kind of move on, and that's okay. But, yeah, I keep doing what you're doing, I guess.
It feels like they launched it and they were trying to launch it with the clout of what WoW had already earned, with what Final Fantasy had already earned,
Right.
and they just hadn't earned it yet, and that bit them. And then it took them, maybe it's still taking them a while to figure out why it's not working out for them. It's like you haven't really proven yourself in this space. I mean, from what I understand, Elder Scrolls Online is pretty decent.
I've heard that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, people enjoy playing that.
Same with the Old Republic.
Yeah,
Everyone
that's
seems
true.
to have loved where that went.
Yep.
So they have some of that clout. They just don't have as much as what I felt like they showed up with.
Right.
So,
Well, and like all of their marketing and their design decisions were all just not the thing you want in a multiplayer Fallout game where it's like NPCs? Nope. Private servers? No, of course not. It's just like, okay, cool. Well, that's the big ones. And you just look at this laundry list of stuff where it's like, I don't want any of that stuff. Like that's not what a Fallout multiplayer / MMO game should be. So I think so many of us just looked at like the bullet points and went, I'm not even gonna try that. So
yeah.
and that's kind of a bummer. But maybe they'll get back to there. They have private servers now. They have NPCs. They have storylines and stuff. So there's still a chance. He also asked, with everything that's been going on, what are some positive gaming experiences you've had with isolation? For me, it's going through my backlog and watching my oldest daughter plow through visual novels.
Watching my wife turn into a DayZ player has been quite the quote-unquote positive experience, we'll say.
The surprise 2020 twist.
Yeah. Like, almost 36 hours straight, folks.
Crazy.
That's terrifying to me.
Yeah.
I think
I miss those days.
I think mine is watching my son play the Final Fantasy VII Remake and really enjoying it and really getting sucked into it.
Mhm.
And I think he wishes that I was furloughed because since I work third shift, I sleep during the day, so that doesn't give him a whole lot of time to play the game. Like, I
Right,
think he
yeah.
just made it to chapter 3, he said,
Oh, okay.
just because I have to sleep. So
Yeah.
I gotta sleep to function.
I think, honestly, my favorite thing that's come out of this whole ordeal is two things, and both of them involve Animal Crossing. Number one, it was the Animal Crossing Doom mix-over.
Yep. Still good.
Probably one of my favorite things from the past 10 years on the internet.
Yep.
And number two is just seeing that game take over my Twitter timeline.
Yep.
And it's just, here is a Janet dress from The Good Place.
Right.
Here is a 80s or 90s like floor pattern from the arcades with the dark blue and the swirls.
Yep.
Oh, my turnip prices are this, my turnip prices are that. I've got this fruit, I've got that fruit. It's legitimately a game that is very minimal on the social interaction when you're actually playing with people.
Right.
But seeing the goofy stuff, like my wife attended an art show on some
Great.
of these islands the other
That's
week,
cool.
where like a bunch of people had put together art of like caterpillars, and it was bug themed. So it was like, here was like a big huge caterpillar that went like 10 spaces across the map
That's cool.
and had the little smiley face, and it was credited to the artists, and the town was made up to look like bugs and stuff. It was so cool. It's like, if people were at work, they wouldn't have the time to do the amount
Right.
of stuff they're doing in this game right now. And of all the games to probably have the perfect release date ever,
Right.
it's Animal Crossing, and it's
Yeah.
that date.
Yep.
Because look at what has happened. And Nintendo have made lots of money because Switches have been getting... I have seen Switches being sold for $500 on eBay because they're sold out in areas.
Yeah. It is nice to see. Most of these games, when they get really big on Twitter, I usually mute the hashtag because, like, I don't want to see the millionth thing about this game. But man, do I love seeing like this Twitter community of people being like, "Hey man, I made this really cool painting. Does anyone want it?" And just people are saying, "Oh yeah, like, oh, I have this cool thing in my store. Does anyone a gold furnace?" It's like one person is like, "I've been looking like that for crazy. I'm gonna hop in your island." Like that stuff is super cool.
My wife has a gold toilet.
Great.
And a bathroom full of spiders, but we won't talk about that.
I've seen a lot of things come up with the scale where people have done a lot of artwork.
Oh,
I
cool.
could get clothes that make you look like a prinny.
Great.
It makes me think I should probably pick the game up.
Yeah.
There's been that game. I still get it on my Twitter feed too, where it's like I read, "Oh, I did so and so in AC," and I'm like, "Oh, Animal Crossing, not Assassin's
I
Creed."
get that like all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. It's like, oh, I'm streaming AC. Ooh, is it Odyssey or Origins? Oh, come on. It's
New
Animal
Horizons.
Crossing.
Son of a. I think my only thing, because I don't let my kid play games yet, because I feel like that's opening Pandora's box. Not that I'm like against kids playing games or anything. I want to play games too. I think she has finally figured out that when I have my headset in and I'm talking during Dadstony, that means I've heard her talk to my wife in the background. She's like, "Gaga's playing with his friends. We need to be quiet." It's like, yes, figured it out.
Gets it.
Victory.
Daddy's mouth is full of hate when he plays Destiny.
That's right. No, it's all about love. We don't win a lot, but we're having fun.
It's like Dead by Friday. It's the exact same thing. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, I don't care if we win. I don't care if we lose. I like winning. Losing isn't great, but at the end, I don't really care. We did have one great time. I was playing with the Hannah, and we were on the moon, and he said, like, "Oh, where's this thing we need to go?" And I said, "Oh, it's on the other side of the Hellmouth." And my daughter in the background goes, "Hellmouth?" And I was just like, oh no, what have I done?
But luckily, she doesn't have a school to go talk about Hellmouth.
I know.
With her
Thank God. My
teachers.
daddy taught me about the Hellmouth, and it's like, oh God, it's not what you think. All right. Well, on that note, that's our episode this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. TVGP.tv. The right hand side has everywhere you can find and follow us. Patreon.com/E1M1. We talked all about that. We'll have a brand new episode of Old Dog New Flicks coming out here the last Friday of the month, so that's right around the corner. Optimus Servo says she's going to Google it and end up watching Buffy. I mean, worse things.
That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, that's all right. Merchandise over on Teespring. The link is on the right hand side of the page. Don't forget the really accidentally excellent We Know shirt is up there. If you a 90s character mascot maybe knows what you did last summer. And I think that's really it. So
new episode of ODNF this Friday, because who knew the final Friday of the month is this week. Thank you, calendar, for
one
being
of the
a nightmare
short months.
again.
Oh, speaking of, we have a brand new episode of Game Club Recap out for Poi. And our next game is going to be Slayaway Camp. That's going to be our next one. So look forward to that. And I think that's actually it. So we'll see you all next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Hopefully you guys got some titles, because I didn't.
Got a couple.
Yeah, I got a couple.
I'm just a pretty face. Some quick num-nums. 2020 Year of Moonpier. Moonpier Roulette. Quad Squads. And finally, Yeah, but Wolf.
But woof. Alright, Moon.
Tank Controls. Anime Herp Derp. Quote unquote legal. And I wrote quote unquote. Bushes and bathtubs. Bag related items. Animal Crossing again. And Hellmouth.
Well, bushes and bathtubs is really good. Alright, I have Little Snacky Bites. My past relationship with Jill. Some quick num-nums. Quad Squads. Yeah, but woof, quote-unquote legal, and bushes and bathtubs.
For me, it's a choice of 3.
Okay.
Quote unquote legal, bushes and bathtubs, and quad squads.
Those are my 3 as well.
I like bushes and bathtubs. What
I
about
think
you
that
guys?
one gets my vote, 'cause I think that's really punchy. I really like it. Fun to say.
But those quad squads. But yeah, I agree. Bushes and bathtubs should get it.
Yeah.
Quad squads.
Quad squads. Bushes and bathtubs sounds like an old Disney movie.
Yeah.
Or just something so out there that it's like, what even brought this up?
Right.
Yeah, don't Google bushes and bathtubs.
Yeah.
You just get a redneck photos of
That's
people
right.
with bushes in their bathtubs.
That's right. That's right. All right, let me know when you guys are ready.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 652 for April 20th, 2020. Bushes and bathtubs.
Russell and a shotgun.
Only thing I'm good at is hiding in ambushes.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching and listening. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.